This programme's brought to you by Dunlop Tyres, Autosportinsurance.com, Praga New Generation and Spa05.com. Welcome to the Supercar Challenge, one of the biggest GT and touring car series in Europe. In this programme we'll bring you a full report from the season finale for the SuperGT, GT and GTB classes, with a grid comprising Corvettes, Vipers, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, BMWs, as well as British marques McLaren, Aston Martin and Lotus. Once more, these supercar drivers will be striving to win, to gain vital points and to tie up the championship titles. The season end is at hand and it all comes down to the final round at the TT circuit of Assen during the Dunlop Final Races. It's bright and sunny in Assen, but the temperatures have plummeted below zero, and that means the first frosts of the year, bad news for gardeners, and an extra challenge for the drivers of the Supercar Challenge. Well, we start with the Super GT division, the fastest of the 6 classes. Reigning champion and current points leader Diedrich Seithoff has brought a very special car to Assen, Jeff Corvette from the Pixar film Cars. Well, Diedrich's got a 33-point advantage with a maximum of 44 to be won this weekend, so he's got little to worry about, especially with Jeff Corvette.
Ja, hij staat klaar. Hij gaat me helpen om het kampioen.
Well, Jeff's ready for it, says Diedrich. He'll help me to win the championship. I hope he'll do his best anyway. It's the last round of the championship. It means it's the last chance for me to become champion in my class. Well, the other Corvette GT1, run by Mad and Daring Racing, is driven by Alex van Toff, who's second in the championship. 33 points adrift, though.
Wordt een spannend weekend natuurlijk.
It's going to be an exciting weekend, says Alex. I'm second in the standings. I've still got a slight chance to win the championship, but it'll need a lot of luck, so that's not realistic perhaps. My goal for the weekend is to defend second place and keep the Viper behind, so finishing one place behind them in both races, that should be enough. Well, the Viper is the GT2 version. Robert de Graaf and Philip Ribben are the third place duo, lying just 4 points behind Van Toff, but 37 behind Diedrich Seithoff. Well, Diedrich's really proved to be an excellent driver. He's done a great job this season, says Philippe. It's going to be difficult to beat him. He needs to drop out, and then we still need some luck to try and catch up to him. So we've got to stay realistic. It's going to be tough, and it's been an up and down season for them so far.
Het absolute dieptepunt van het jaar is dat we gecrashed zijn in Zandvoort.
Absolute low point was the crash at Zandvoort, says Robert. Horrible experience for Philippe. It was a really hard, unexpected impact. Car was badly damaged, almost written off. The team had to work really hard to get it sorted. And of course that really affected our championship. We were leading then and we had a firm grip on the lead. We could have come here as leaders, but not meant to be. Well, Diedrich Seithoff just needs to finish this race in 6th place to secure the title, but anything could still happen. Track temperatures are very low, and despite the drivers getting 2 warm-up laps, might still be a problem with traction. Diedrich Seithoff starts from 2nd place, Robert de Graaf and Alex van Toff on the 3rd row. As the red lights go off, the Speedtech Viper already on Diedrich Seithoff's tail. Great start from Peter Verslijs in the Ferrari. He outbreaks the whole field to chase Seithoff in Jeff Corvette, who's taken the lead. But moments after the race has started, it stopped. A massive cooling fluid spillage on the track. What happened? Well, let's take a look from Jan Verslijs. Barry van Elk in the Mosler brakes early, not a problem. But Verslijs isn't slowing down at all. Contact with Bert Lonchin and Barry van Elk out with a broken wheel. And Verslijs spills cooling fluid all over the track.
Ja, ik zat achter Bert. En ik moest remmen en ik draait op mijn pedaal heen.
I was behind Bert, had to brake, but there was no pressure. The pedal went straight to the floor, says Jan. Barry was right in front of me. Bert came in. I hit him, collided with Barry. Managed to keep the car out of the gravel and get back to the pit lane, but it turns out the radiator was busted, so game over for us. Well, the marshals cleared the track ready for a complete restart without the crash cars and also without Peter Verslijs. He was held in the pit lane after a mistake by the marshals, and he's got steam coming out of his ears while the championship contenders need to keep their cool. Diedrich Seithoff knows he needs to finish in the top 6, so he lets Robert de Graaf and Jeroen de Boer both go at the start. Any risks here would be absolutely unnecessary for Seithoff. He's wise to avoid them. During the mandatory pit stops, Dietrich Seithoff is in. He's got a long wait. He has to remain at rest 30 seconds longer than Robert de Graaf and Philippe Ribens, the penalty for previous successes. But he also knows teammate Alex van Toff is no longer a title threat because he's punctured a tyre and didn't make it back to the pits. Dietrich leaves the pits, dropping down to 4th place, still good enough to win the championship. So now it all comes down to keeping a steady pace, not overstressing the machinery. Probably the least exciting way of racing, but that's what it takes to win the championship. And that's what he does to become the 2012 Super GT champion.
Nou, ik heb een topjaar gehad. Het was een super team.
Well, it's been a great year for me. The team really did an excellent job. They're such fun to work with. I learned so much. Yeah, it's a crown on everyone's hard work, I think. And finally, I'm champion. Well, the 4th place finish means he won't be on the podium to celebrate his 2nd championship victory in a row. Jeroen de Boer, the race winner, is joined by Moser driver Robert Grals in 3rd and Robert de Graaf and Philippe Ribens in 2nd position. Because Alex van Toff dropped out of the race with a punch and de Graaf and Ribens move up to 2nd in the championship, they'll have to defend that position in race 2. On to the next division, the GT class, where there are 2 championship contenders. 2nd place is JR Motorsport BMW Silhouette driver Pim van Riet and his teammate Henk Thies. They've won 5 races this season, but will their experience be enough to eliminate their 15-point deficit to GT championship leader Barry Mason with the Dodge Viper GT3? He's won 3 races but was more consistent. His bad luck at Spa reduced his lead immensely, and now he has to score maximum points to win the championship. Barry knows he's got to do a perfect job. He starts by taking pole position in qualifying, and he never surrenders 1st place in the race. Barry Mason, Saturday's race winner, ahead of Steve van Belleghem and Barry's biggest rivals Pim van Riet and Henk Thies in 3rd. So the new champion in the GT class is Barry Mason.
Het was een lange race.
It was a very, very long race. Last laps were so long, the seconds were just crawling by. But I made it. I'm so happy to be the champion. Well, because of his race win, Barry will still get 1 point for pole on Sunday's race. Therefore, Pim van Riet and Henk Thies can no longer overhaul him in the standings. Well, one division was not decided in Saturday's racing. That's GTB. Race winners were Nelson van der Poel and Jackie van der Ende in their Ford Mondeo Silhouette. 2nd, Werner van Herk in the Mazda 3 Silhouette. And 3rd, Mark van der Aar and Dan Meyer in the Porsche. But none of them were championship contenders. Points leader Kees Kreiner with the Aston Martin only finished 6th, so he's still got some work to do in Sunday's racing. Kreiner's won 4 times this year. He knows he can win the GTB championship by taking it easy in Sunday's races, but that's not really his style.
Ja, wat gaat het worden? Wie het weet mag het zeggen.
What's going to happen? Who knows? Well, I've got a good feeling about it anyway. I've just got to finish the race. That should be enough to win the title, and that's our main goal, obviously. But between you and me, it'd be awesome to make it onto the podium. So that's my 2nd target, and if that works out, then I'll be very happy. Well, 2nd in the championship are Lammertink Porsche drivers Reine Wijnen and Charlie Freins. They're 16 points behind Kreiner, so they're going to have to push very hard and will probably need some mechanical woes for the Aston Martin if they're to claim the title. Just like in the GT division, 1 point too far away, Errol Artan. He can no longer win the championship, but he still gets a pep talk from his team manager about the runner-up spot. He says, I'm still in for the runner-up spot, slightly, but Peter says I don't have to drive on the edge to get there, just to go over it when I need to. So we'll see how that's going to work out. Last race of the season though, so we'll give it everything. So the very last race of the weekend is a race for the runner-up spots in the Super GT and GT divisions, but the winner of the GTB Championship outright must still be decided. On pole in Super GT is Saturday's race winner Jeroen de Boer in the DB Motorsport BMW Z4 GT3. Next to him, the guys who are still battling for the runner-up spot, Robert de Graaf and Philippe Ribens, who start the race in the E-Tech Viper SRT 10. The teams wait till the last minute to fit the preheated tyres. The track is still ice cold. Starting for the first time this weekend after gearbox problems on Saturday, Jim and Glyn Geddy in their McLaren GT3. They'll start right from the back. On pole in GT, Barry Mason, the newly crowned champion in his Viper. One last chance to show why he is the year's champion. And in the middle of the grid, we see the championship contenders in GTB, with Rennie and Charlie Frein starting just one place behind their biggest rival, Kees Kreiner, in his Aston Martin. And the Porsche drivers really need to attack Kreiner to win the title. Everyone's ready for the 2 warm-up laps on a very cold Assen circuit, and the sun might also be a factor. It's low, and that could cause visibility problems. And clutch problems for Werner van Herk. He's not going to start in the Mazda, and that will cost him 2nd place in the GTB Championship race. Everybody, including Kees Kreiner, already moving up a spot from behind him. The SuperGT drivers starting at the back of the grid include Alex Van Toff, Noel Kohler's Corvette as well, Jim and Glyn Geddy in the McLaren, Jan Verslijs in the Ferrari. Well, Diedrich Seithoff, having won the championship in Jeff Corvette, has handed it over to long-term partner Rick Abresch. Abresch let him drive the title decider on his own. Ready to go at the start, Jaap van Lagen well up on the grid. And here we go, the start of the final race of the season. On board with Van Lagen, rushing away from the start of the race. Battle under brakes, the BMW has the lead. Great start from the Ferrari though, up into 3rd place immediately, Peter Verslijs. Philip Ribbons ran wide there in the Viper, dropping back to 6th behind Jaap van Lagen here. There's your race leader. Lead 2 starting to try and pull away, Bert Lonchin in 3rd place. There is the Ferrari, Jaap van Lagen in 4th spot, goes around the Mosler of Roger Graals. Jackie van der Ende is leading the GTB class in the Ford Mondeo Silhouette. From the back of the grid, Barry van Elk trying to make progress in that white and blue Mosler after Saturday's crash. Replay of the start with Philip Ribbons. Gets a decent start in the Viper, down to the first corner, being very cautious though. Oh, drifts out very wide onto the AstroTurf. Goes from 2nd all the way down to 6th position. And that might just be a problem with cold tyres. So Jeroen de Boer leads, Peter Verslijs right behind him in the Ferrari. Bert Lonchin, the red car. Jaap van Lagen shares with Wolf Narten in that Corvette, ahead of the Mosler of Roger Graals. Barry Mason leading in the GT class. Jackie van der Ende leading in the GTB class. And a puncture, smoke pouring off the Corvette of Alex Van Toff. Well, he gets back to the pit lane, but 2nd place in the championship is done for him. On board once more, the Corvette 137, that's Jaap van Lagen, closing in on 3rd place Bert Lonchin. Bert as ever sharing with Frans Lamotte in their 430 GT2. Great move down the inside at De Bolt, straightforward pass. Well, a few laps later, and Jaap van Lagen is in the pits. Also, the Black Viper of Wim Lumbeck is in, and Carlo Kaya in the Corvette. They collided on the 2nd lap. But the race is over, I'm afraid, for the Corvette. Jaap van Lagen gets out. Wolf Narten does not get a drive in the final race. Well, not a day, says Jaap. Broken drive shaft. Real pity. I was really looking forward to trying to get up to Peter Verslijs and maybe even the BMW. Not to be. On the straight, the drive shaft snapped. I was in 6th gear, suddenly lost drive. Luckily, I was able to get to the pits, but it's game over. And it's game over for Rick Abresch. Jeff Corvette has called it a day. I think maybe Jeff has lost his will to fight. We lost 5th and 6th gear, so there's no point continuing. He'd probably just wrecked the gearbox. So I brought the car in and stopped before anything got worse. Looks like it's not a good day for us. 3 cars running into problems. Philip Ribbons, meanwhile, attacking Roger Graals for 4th place. Graals seemed to have a lot of traction problems in that Mosler. The Viper's got rid of his problems. So into the pits comes Graals then. Mosler Race Art team will check it over. Can't see anything wrong with the car. Send him back on his way. Well, problems are plenty for the Super GT drivers, but what about Kees Kreiner? Will the Aston Martin drivers stay out of trouble? Exciting times ahead. Stay with us. This programme's brought to you by Dunlop Tyres, Autosportinsurance.com, Praga New Generation and Spa05.com. Welcome back to the Dunlop Final Races at the TT Circuit at Assen. It's the final race of the season and the championship yet to be decided in the GTB division. But first, let's get back to SuperGT. Man who won on Saturday started this race on pole position, still the race leader, Jeroen de Boer, in the BMW Z4 GT3. And it's Ferrari's second and third. This is Peter Verslijs, his 458 in second spot. And he's got a decent advantage now over Bert Lonchin, who lies third. Lonchin with company now. Philip Ribbons closing in from behind in the Dodge Viper. So on board with Philip Ribbons, this is the battle for third. Coming through the fast rights on the return leg back towards the pits. Left through Ramshoek, then into the chicane that ends the lap, the Gert Timmer chicane. He's right behind the Ferrari, but the Viper driver knows he's got problems with the brakes. He's having to brake a little earlier everywhere. Got a good run going down here into the first corner. He's got the inside line. Lonchin knows he's still there. Has to leave him a little bit of room, even though he was just about in front under braking. Well, watch again. Watch the Ferrari. Gets deeper into the corner, but he knows the Viper's still coming. He just has to open up the corner and allow the yellow car to go through. And a little thank you there from Philip Ribbons. Further back in the GT class, this is Barry Mason, already crowned the champion in his Dodge Viper. He's leading the race. Henk Thies is already out. He ended up in the gravel trap. First in GTB is Jackie van der Ende in the Mondeo. Second, Mark van der Aar in the Porsche. Third, Errol Artan still pushing hard. Fourth, Charlie Friends. Fifth, Wilfried Herder, and sixth, there he is, Kees Kreiner. On board with Kees Kreiner, he's sixth in the GTB class, passing Wilfried Herder in a similar Aston Martin Vantage. And then this is Charlie Friends, shares with Rennie Weinen in their Porsche, and that is the change for fourth place. Kees Kreiner's hopes of celebrating his championship on the podium look more and more as if they could be a reality. Errol Artan passing Mark van der Aar for second place. Battle of the Porsches right in front of us. See how low the sun is getting. The Aston Martin closing in. This is second, third and fourth now. Errol Artan in second place. Lost his chance at the championship earlier in the weekend. Now Mark van der Aar. Straight through goes Kees Kreiner. And he's up into third position, so a podium finish. Jeroen de Boer comfortably out front. Peter Verslijs still in second in the Ferrari, but from the back of the grid, great progress being made by the McLaren MP4. Gearbox problems put it out on Saturday, started on the back of the grid in this Sunday race. And Glyn Geddy now chasing Bert Lonchin for fourth position. Well, first time ever on the TT circuit at Assen for Glyn and Jim Geddy, the father and son combination. They only had practice and qualifying, didn't do race one. Gets by. But runs a little wide at the Duikersloot. Into the pit stops then. Compulsory pit stop between minute 25 and 35 of the race, allowing for a driver change or car adjustments. Bert Lonchin saying, to be honest, I think we got pretty happy with our results this year. Some people say the Supercar Challenge isn't that quick, but I don't think that's true. Level racing here is really high for a championship that's got mostly gentlemen drivers. We haven't got the best car perhaps to keep up with the field, but if we can race onto the podium 4 or 5 times, we'll be very happy. Well, here's Philip Ribbons handing over to Robert de Graaf. Car in third place in the Viper. They're not going to be able to close on Peter Verslijs for first or second. Peter Verslijs with no results seconds, but the Viper does. This is how they balance the performance. 25 seconds extra in the pit stops. Leader before the pit stops, Jeroen de Boer, will have 60 seconds result. So Verslijs takes the lead in his Ferrari. Jeroen de Boer in second place. Barry Van Elk in the Mosler goes third. Meanwhile, Kees Kreiner driving alone in the Aston Martin, right on the tail of Errol Artan in his Porsche 997, also driving solo. This is the battle for second now in the GTB division. Oh, and Errol Artan gets caught out. And that was Steve Van Bellingen's BMW. And Errol Artan in the gravel trap. And there goes his chance of second spot in the championship. Slowly but surely, Kees Kreiner clawing his way up the order. This is for the lead then. Nelson van der Poel's taken over that Ford Mondeo from Jackie van der Ende, the starting driver. Little wave to say thank you. On his way, Kees Kreiner heading towards the checkered flag and the GTB Championship. Kees Kreiner wins the title in the Aston Martin in the final race of the season. Winning the race and becoming a champion can't get any better. We've worked hard all season to get to this. It's been an up and down year. I'm very happy for the team. They even had to work really hard yesterday night to get the car ready. They're always there for me. Championship is theirs as well. Well, teammate Wilfried Herbert was also on the podium in his Aston Martin. Jackie van der Ende and Nelson van der Poel moved up to third in the championship after some good results. Errol Artan dropping down to fourth place, but the happy man, Kees Kreiner. So Kees Kreiner crowned the champion then, runner-up spot for René Weinen and Charlie Freins, and Jackie van der Ende and Nelson van der Poel in third spot. Well, Stefan Bellingen racing alone in Assen, still getting good results, second on Saturday and second on Sunday as well, but after the pit stops dropping back down to third place. The battle for the lead in the GT class between Simon Atkinson in the Lamborghini Gallardo and champion Barry Mason in the Dodge Viper. And it goes all the way almost to the checkered flag. Barry Mason grabbing the advantage in the last few laps of the season. Well, the newly crowned champion rounding out his year with victory. And Steve Van Bellingen again on the podium, sharing his excitement about returning to the series next year. I'm definitely coming back to Supercar Challenge next year, he says. It's a great championship. I found a great team to drive for. The JR Motorsport guys, they're just wonderful. They do an excellent job. They make it so much fun. So for sure, I'll be back next season. Well, confirmation, Barry Mason the champion. Henk Tees, Pim van Rieten second. Steve Van Bellingen and Bert Reddent third place in the championship in the Super GT class. Peter Versluis ahead of Jeroen de Boer and Berry van Elk. Van Elk from the back of the grid. Versluis benefiting from a lack of results in previous races. Perfect race, he says. I was very lucky, almost ran out of fuel on the last lap. Struggled to get in on the very last drops. The engine stalled as I was coming into the pit lane. All in all though, great way to end the season. I think I missed out on 4 or 5 races scoring any points, so the championship was a bit of a goner, but still winning the last race. Great feeling. I'll start a rally career next year, so this is a good way of saying goodbye to circuit racing. So Diederik Seithoff, the champion, Robert de Graaf and Philip Ribbons, runners-up, Alex van Toff in third in Super GT. Coming up next then, the Supersport, Sport 1 and Sport 2 divisions. All 3 titles remain to be decided here in Assen. This programme's brought to you by Dunlop Tyres, Autosportinsurance.com, Praga New Generation and Spa05.com.